Hi folks, I'm Devok and welcome to the Artificers Guild, the home of all things Artifact. Today I wanted to recap day 1 of Artifact. The crazy card stock market, all the bugs to look out for, the features that are missing, as well as some of the epic things this community is doing. The launch of Artifact was so nearly perfect. I was having a bit of a launch party myself over in our Discord, and Valve gave us a 1-hour window in which it would go live. But we decided to have a nice big countdown playing that brought us right up to the beginning of that 1-hour window. And no game. What was really awkward about the launch is that I physically couldn't check. I was there waiting to let you all know via Twitter when the game was launched. But, and I'm not meaning to sound gloaty at all, I'm sorry, I was already in the game, so I had literally no idea. Of course, as many of you will know, the delay wasn't too long, and within about 20 or 30 minutes, they released the game with just one additional patch, and everyone was in. One thing that really surprised me is that there were basically no problems with the launch itself. Everyone got in okay, as far as I know, and there were no glaring errors. There was one small bug with certain resolutions during the tutorial, but outside of that, it was a super clean launch. Probably the cleanest launch I've ever seen. So, a pat on the back for Valve for that. On to the bad stuff. Because this, of course, didn't last. I'm pretty sure some of you are Dota players. So, if I told you the Dota 2 coordinator was down, could you explain that horrible feeling in your stomach right now? That deep, churning feeling because you just want to play, but you know you are utterly powerless for however long it takes to bring it back. Well, Valve decided that a coordinator wasn't quite the right fit for Artifact. So, about 1 hour into the launch, the Artifact network couldn't connect. The same little message appeared across the top of your screen, just as in Dota, and we simply had to sit there, most of the way through a tournament, for it to come back. This is the kind of thing I expected at the launch itself, so at least we lasted a while. I guess the Americans came home from work and loaded up the game. Either way, it was handled pretty well. The game was back live within about 30 minutes, and our tournament could continue from where it left off, which was really nice. It would have been a massive ball ache to get that reconstructed. But that is something to look out for in the future. If you ever see that the Artifact network is down, that means that the Steam servers aren't having a good day and you're not going to be able to play for the duration of that downtime. Now, let's talk about the stock markets of Artifact cards then. When they released Uncommon Trading for the beta testers, it was at night time here, so I personally didn't get to see it. But there were reports of Blink Dagger going as insanely high as £10. By the time I awoke, it was £1.50, which is far more reasonable, and now the sell price is down to £1 flat. This is basically a microcosm of what the entire market will look like over the next week or so. When rare trading was turned on, Axe cost an astounding £40. In fact, it could have even been more than that, but I didn't catch it the second it went up. £40 freaking pounds, guys. That's almost 3 times the cost of the game itself. Unfortunately, I do not own Axe, otherwise I'd have been sorted for life in terms of cards selling that baby. But the same is true of most cards, just to a lesser effect. Karna was £10 plus, Tinker was at around £4 and Lich was £3. Of course Drow was close to £10 too, but that's a lot less than I thought she would be. So, those are the most expensive heroes from just prior to the launch. But let's take a look at what happened with the game launching. Thousands of people opening their 10 free packs, and all of a sudden, Axe is only £11. Karna is £5. Lich and Tinker are both between £2 and £3, with Drow being the only survivor down to just under £9. What I'm trying to say is that as Artifact reaches its peak of launch players, each new one adding 10 other packs of cards to the game at least, the market will get cheaper. So stop buying cards. In fact, if you had a Karna or Axe last night, selling it then and buying it this morning would have landed you a pretty nifty profit. The market will be crazy for about another week, so if you're looking to buy cards, just wait. I still need a few key rares to make the decks I want, so I'll just spam draft this week and buy them later. Now, I know there are some of you out there who couldn't care less about the market right now, for a couple of reasons. You pretty much fit into 2 categories. 1, you can't open your first 10 packs, or 2, you have a new Steam account and have no idea the Steam Guard existed. For the latter group, I can't confirm this myself, but it seems as though Valve has reduced the time you need to wait before you can trade from 15 days to just 7. Just for you. Just for the launch of Artifact. If you still haven't done so, you need to link your Steam account to the mobile authenticator app, or to an email account, so that it can send you verification codes when you try to trade, or more frequently, check that it's actually you when you're logging in on a new device. This is to protect you. Please don't be annoyed at Valve for its existence. This is in place so people can't just log into your account and sell all your stuff, or even buy the stuff they're selling for crazy prices. If you haven't signed up to it yet, go do it now, and in 7 days, the market will be a lot cheaper for you to buy on anyway. The other group of you who can't buy or sell right now have encountered a bug. You cannot access your first 10 packs. This is just a bug, and most people have reported that they do appear at some time between 15 minutes after the tutorial and 24 hours after the tutorial. I believe I heard someone saying Valve were working on a fix for this, so hopefully it won't affect too many more of you, but for those of you with the issue, just be patient. A quick reminder to you, those packs, tickets and starter decks are not required to play the Call to Arms events or to do casual Phantom Draft. Not to mention you can also play those two modes in tournaments too, so there's plenty to keep you guys going. Okay, this is my last bug to bear about the launch before I move on to greener pastures, about some other things that went very, very well. Valve, this is real talk time. We need some social features. Your game is incredible, and it is even better when talking to others about it. You've put a lot of good work in to make the game feel social. Now we just need that extra little bit. The biggest issue I can currently see is actually one that I never would have figured in the beta because everyone knew everyone else. But being able to add someone after a match is a must. If you have an enthralling game, even if you lose, you often want to talk to the one that beat you, congratulate them, discuss the game a bit, and maybe ask for a rematch. The community is nowhere near as toxic as it is in some other games. A lot of the time people really do just want to say hi after the match. So let it be so. I actually got to witness this myself when we ran a tournament, because it pops up with a little tournament chat, and after each game I saw that the two people would talk to each other and say, oh, I like what you did there, and congratulations, good luck further. Like, this community is really nice. Just please give them the chance to be that. The only other thing I would see you add now, and don't worry, there is a list somewhere, but this one I feel more strongly about. Let people join tournaments through the client itself. I know you can invite your friends, but unfortunately I can't send friend requests to the hundreds of people who came to play last night. So if they couldn't log into Steam on their browser, which is the case for quite a few people, they simply couldn't join. Allow people to open tournament links in-game somehow, or use the tournament code to find and join it. Otherwise, I absolutely adore your tournament system, even if you do have to do a bit of hackery to allow spectating. Alright, time for those greener pastures. Twitch chat, Twitch viewers and Twitch streamers. You guys are frickin' killing it. Despite most people not watching and instead playing, Artifact still peaked very high on the top stream game list. But this was only the second biggest thing to happen on Twitch in my personal opinion. Biggest still was that the top Artifact streamer for most of day one, and when not top falling only second, was Savich. Why is this important, you ask? Surely Crip, who was top for some of it, does a lot for the scene. Well, sure, Crip is a great content creator and definitely helps Artifact out. But let's be honest here, he probably isn't sticking around. And when he leaves, he will take a good portion of the new Artifact viewers that got attached to him through Artifact. So having an actual Artifact player, someone who isn't likely to leave the game, right at the top was fantastic. Guys, there are a bunch of fantastic Artifact streams out there, so go give them a watch. I know the old guard who have come from other games are great, but if you really want to up your game, scroll down that list a little and look for those Artifact Pro players. They need your support, and you need their 200 IQ plays. Finally, if you've been living under a rock, or maybe you just don't like me so you try to ignore me, and somehow made it this far into a video, we announced the AOC, or Artifact Open Circuit, yesterday. A series of mini tournaments where you compete for circuit points, and at the end of the month the top 8 players duke it out for the prize and title of champion. The whole point of this was to elevate good players to a point where they can get some recognition and try to make it pro. Well, we had our first 2 mini tournaments last night, and they were nail biters. The final game of the second tournament featured 2 decks both using a decent number of black cards. One player swung the game in a quick series of fast and deadly plays, but the other one saw it coming and had the pieces in place to completely swing it back around and instead win the game themselves the very next turn. Our first 2 winners were Coldstorm and Kyoko, and there'll be even more winners today. If you want to join the action or just watch the action, be sure to follow us on Twitter to get tournament invite links at Artificers_Guild, or join our Discord, the link of which is in the description, for the rules, leaderboards and access to the admins. I can't wait to see how many of you make it big and how I can help you guys go pro. And that just about wraps up the chaos that was day one. As always, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, feel free to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel out. I'm Divok of the Artificers Guild, and I'll see you next time.